Hey folks, Brian here. I want to talk about the Ressio time rounding feature. So let's talk about it first. What is it going to do and how do we enable it? So what this can do for you is it can allow you to round a time entry on your actuals to 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or a full hour. Excellent for when you're doing service calls, things like that, where we can actually round up those durations. And it's important because just because they clocked in for only a few minutes on the actual job doesn't mean that it didn't absorb a full hour of their day and keeps them from doing something else. So let's jump around and take a look at this. First thing we'll want to do is head to our company settings. And once on our company settings, we'll head up to our team members area. From our team members, two things that we want to make sure. We want to make sure that we have a linked team member because we're going to show what this looks like when we push it over to QuickBooks. So if you are linking and pushing entries to QuickBooks, make sure that your team member is linked. Taking a quick run by, making sure our team member has a billable rate. This is important for the way we're going to round this. So this billable rate is set to $100. Jumping down to our settings, the setting that we want to use is the time entry rounding right here. So this is a setting that we can open up and adjust at any time. Quick frequently asked question that may come up. If you have some entries and you were rounding to 30 minutes for, a couple months and you decide that let's round up to an hour instead, all your approved entries will round appropriately. And then any new entries, when you change this setting, will then round to the new setting. So it won't change anything, won't change any historical data if you make any changes to these settings later on. Now, we've confirmed that our settings are set up the way we need them. Let's go down to our time clock and let's put in a quick entry. All right, on our time clock, we're going to go ahead and record a shift for our employee. So let's grab our employee that was linked. Let's assign them to a project. And then their rate. Remember, this is $100 for their rate. I'm just going to put them on this test cost code. And I'll come in here and put in a duration. And let's just do 10 minutes. Submit and finish this. So we've got a new 10-minute rate inside of there. Now this doesn't push to the budget page, nor does it push to QuickBooks until we approve the action. I don't have to push to QuickBooks right away, so I'll give this a second and leave that there. Confirm and approve. So now that my time entry is approved, let's head to the budget page and see what we get. Go to this budget page. That entry is on our test cost code. Let's go ahead and open this up. Here are our two time entries sorted out to the top. You can see that there's no change to the actual entry that goes onto this budget page. What does change is the amount. So one of these entries was 1 minute. You can see that on the time clock. And then the other one that we put in live was for 10 minutes. And both have rounded to $50 because we are charging for 30 minutes on the rounding. And Zach's pay rate was $100. So those are looking perfect. Let's go ahead and push that entry over to QuickBooks. You should see what I'm getting at here is that the durations of these never change. Like, we only round it when it heads over to that budget page and records as an actual. So the time clock is recording all of the time that needs to be there. And then we can still push these over to QuickBooks. We're going to jump over and take a look at the entry pushed over to QuickBooks. This one's already available for us to look at right away. So if we head over to QuickBooks, this is that single day entry. And I can see my duration, my start time, my project, my employee, all the information that I need. Cost rate per hour would be set in here. But the summary, this is 1 minute at $100 per hour to give us $1.67. What a hard day's work for Zach, right? Close that out. You can see the entry here. And our other entries also made it over. Let's take a look at that one. Just open it up. Very similar setup here. Zach on his test job with a billable of $100 per hour. Duration of 10 minutes. But notice, again, none of the durations or none of that information changes. It's just the actual that heads to your budget page. That's getting adjusted there. Thanks, everybody. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your CSC, your CSM, or support. Be happy to take care of any questions that you have. Take care. Bye-bye.